Are you avoiding stepping up for that next promotion because you're already overloaded with a lot of work? And sometimes the days feel like you're just chasing your tail, doing everybody else's needs and not meeting your own. Well, today I am really excited as part of the Get Promoted Faster speaker series to have Naomi here to share some sunshine, to share some self-care with you about how you can put you first in the stage to get promoted. Naomi, welcome to the show.
Nancy. Hi,
Hey.
everyone.
So, Naomi, you are a big fan of self-care, but can you tell me your corporate journey that led you to realizing you needed more self-care in your life?
So, thank you, Nancy. I once worked I've worked for many people and recently took a journey into being employed by myself, thinking that that would give me more opportunity for self-care. It turns out that if you don't prioritize it, it doesn't matter who you work for. But I did work for many different places, and a lot of them were corporate restaurants, which means nights and weekends as well.
Mhm.
And I worked on the office side of a lot of it, but it didn't matter, right? So there's just huge volume with high demand for your time in those places. And I found myself over and over again finding that I didn't have time for me. I didn't have time to exercise. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't drinking enough water. I wasn't doing the basic things that you need to do to even feel like you're functioning, much less thriving in life. And it turns out that when you're just burning somebody else's oil all the time, that you run out of any energy for yourself, much less for yourself outside of work. But in addition, during work, you're just barely making. And it was too much at some point. So I kind of gave up on that grind because I didn't take care of myself.
Yeah. And I meet so many people, especially high performers, who want to show up and they really want to do great things. But if you are draining your energy, if you are depleting yourself, then you don't actually show up as the best version of yourself. Would you say that's true?
That's absolutely true. So I have a saying that you can't serve people from an empty cup.
Yeah.
So if you fill into your own cup so much that it's overflowing, then you serve from the overflow, from the saucer, and you're not depleting from yourself at all. And you're giving to the world the best of you because it's from the overflow that you have instead of struggling to make enough energy or make enough help for someone else. You have so much, you have a plethora you're able to give to others. And that's hard to find sometimes. However, when you prioritize yourself, you find there are moments that you can do that throughout your day.
Beautiful. And when I think of some of the top leaders in the world, like I think of Richard Branson, I think he's like the king or the knight, if you want to call him, of making sure that he has a lot of self-care. Yet he runs billions of dollars worth of companies and still is able to invest in that time. So I know you have some strategies for people on who are high performers, who are that exceptional, to be able to put some fun into the way they do some self-care. So what's the first strategy that you would recommend them working on?
So I know high performers and people who are busy in corporate jobs a lot of times just don't feel like they have a spare moment, right? And the first thing to do is to evaluate where exactly you do have those spare moments, right? So I work with some physicians, and in between going into exam rooms, I recommend that they have just a quick positive saying, something, a 2-minute YouTube video, something that they can listen to reset their mood, reset their mind, reset themselves before they go into the next client. So it's really anytime you find that 2-minute break, if you have something preloaded, It depends on the person, right? So if you're somebody who's very energetic naturally, you'll want something preloaded that soothes you, that calms you, that gives you that moment of break in your mind. Now, if you're naturally a little bit lower energy, you'll want something that pumps you up, right? You'll want a song that gets you really excited and moves your spirit and your energy and gets you going. So it depends on who you are and the kind of time breaks you have. But there is absolutely a way to find time for self-care anytime in your day.
That's a great recommendation. I'm actually going to implement it because as we started this call, right, I was like, I had just got off a really heavy meeting that left me a little frustrated. And just knowing that I was going to this interaction with you lifted me up. However, if I had chosen a piece of music or if I had chosen like some little positive inspirational thing, that would have really brought me higher. And I think as people move up the corporate ladder, they end up in a lot of meetings. So carving those little pieces is a great suggestion. So that's step number one, finding some time and adding these uplifting bits. What other suggestions do you have for these busy, high energy people?
So there's a certain level of non-negotiables that you should have. For me, I have to meditate twice a day. I have kids and other things. I'm self-employed, right? When do you have time to meditate twice a day? Well, they say if you're busy, you should meditate for 30 minutes. If you're extremely busy, you should meditate for an hour, right? So essentially, they're saying the more self-care you can give yourself, the more time you actually get back for yourself. Because instead of being overwhelmed and stressed out and frantic energy, you're coming in with a calm energy. And so you're not wasting that time. You're already settled in your soul so you're not wasting that time trying to settle yourself. So non-negotiables would depend on each person, right? Some people really need to take a hot bath once a week. Some people really need to go for a run every day. It depends on who you are and what actually helps you, what your self-care looks like. In order to evaluate that, there's a few different ways, and you can always Google or whatever, but I do have a self-care assessment, essentially, that we can do together that can help you figure out your non-negotiables. And if you've never really prioritized self-care, you might not have any idea what that looks like for you. And that's okay, right? The first step of solving a problem is admitting you have one. So we can figure out what they are as long as you understand how important self-care truly is for yourself personally, but also in the workplace. So when you show up as your best self, people see that and people want to help you improve yourself as well. People see you showing up for yourself and they want to show up with you.
And that's true. So when we are not in a state of stress because we've taken on self-care, we communicate better. We have like that energy that people are looking for to be able to follow. We have that as I say the French term, that je ne sais quoi, that thing that people are like, what is it about them that makes me want to be like, they're a leader, they're somebody I should be following, I should be admiring in the way they do work. And it starts with self-care as the basis in the premise. Mm-hmm. One of the things you also talked about was making time to meditate. And while I am a big fan of meditation, I think one of the things that's great in relation to helping you move up the corporate ladder with meditation is it gives you a chance to reflect, to think, to have that time. And it's often during these times of quiet and giving yourself that space where the brilliant ideas come up. What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So whatever you believe in, right, the universe or whatever it is, they say that when you're quiet, you have the ability to get the download, right? So whatever it is that's greater than us can speak to us when we're not chattering in our own mind.
Yeah.
essentially, right? And so meditation can range from just a couple moments of quiet time to guided meditations that can go up to an hour. I've been doing one from Joe Dispenza lately that's 51 minutes. And I never, when I started my meditation journey, did I think I could sit still for 51 minutes. It was hard at first for me to get 2 minutes sitting
Yeah.
still. And so that's another thing. If you've never meditated and you go, I can't sit still for that long, try
Yeah.
for 30 seconds. Once you get 30 seconds down, try for a minute.
Yeah.
See, once you get to a certain place where you're sitting maybe for 5 still minutes, just do that consistently for a little while and see if it helps. Most people find that nerves that wire together fire together is
Uh-huh.
what they say. And when you're letting that kind of stillness come into all the neurons in your brain, it really helps a smooth path for your thoughts to go on. So there's less kind of jumpy, hectic energy in your brain. Again, it just brings more stability in your own mind and your own spirit to go in and bring your best self
Yeah.
to your job, to your life in general.
Yeah. And these things help you make better decisions and show up as a better leader in the company, which is the key to helping you step up. It also helps you reduce the frenzy of doing everything for everybody else.
Absolutely. And with a more stable base for your thoughts,
Mhm.
you can kind of think, well, so and so in this department is really good at that thing, and I'm going to go ahead and delegate this to them so that I can free up time that only I can do this. It just helps settle your mind a little bit more to where you instead of being reactive to things, you can think in advance of things. Here's something that's coming today. How can I best serve myself and the company in what I foresee coming in this,
Yeah.
instead of being reactionary?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go back because you talked about Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation. And one that may even be interesting for people, and I suspect most people haven't tried this one, is one of his walking meditations. And I love walking meditation number 4 because you visualize yourself as the future person you want to be. And then he has you walk, like you open your eyes and you walk and you've got this powerful music behind you. So it gives you that sensation of physically experiencing that position that you want to be in. So if you've never tried it, Naomi, I highly recommend it. It's longer than an hour, but you at least get movement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Combining, that's another thing. Habit stacking is a great way for self-care. So if you want to exercise more, do more physical movement, and meditate, a walking meditation is a great way to do that. You're stacking things together where
Yeah.
you're able to accomplish, with a busy schedule, able to accomplish 2 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Another good point you brought up is when so the way you're showing up today, the person you are today, is a result of the person that was making all of the decisions leading up to today. So if you want to change something about yourself, if you want to change something about your life, you start making the movements, the actions, the decisions as if you were the person you want to become, not the person you are today. And pretty soon you wake up and you go, oh, look at me. Here I am. I'm that person that I was trying to get to. It's actually a really cool way to wake up one day when you go, oh, this is what I was trying to do.
Yeah, it's so true, right? Like if you want to be in that next leadership position and not be overwhelmed and stressed, you need to start showing up every day being like, how can I put little bits of this into me and living that before you land there and become it. So, Naomi, it has been such a great pleasure to chat with you. You and I, well, it's been so nice to get to know you through another group that we are in. But if people wanted to get that self-assessment that you were talking about, how does that work and how can they reach out to you?
So I can have my Calendly link I'll give to you, and you can link in this interview, and I'll just have it's in my Calendly. It just says self-care assessment, and it's a call basically where I sit down and have just a quick chat, maybe about 20 minutes, where we can talk about what your current self-care looks like, what your ambitions for your self-care look like, and easy steps to get us to that place together.
Awesome. If you are stepping up to be a leader in your organization and really want that promotion, then I highly recommend taking time to get a self-care assessment, because the better you can be with you, the better you will be as a leader for others. Naomi, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you on Get Promoted Faster.
It's been my pleasure, Nancy. Thank you so much.